We all know that yesterday is the past, tomorrow is the future, and today is the present. And a present is a gift. And this is a gift that I'm making for my family, my friends, and whoever else would care to know about something of my past. My name is Alice Teresa O'Keefe. I was born in New York City, that cauldron of energy that we all know and love, those who come from there. And of course, my parents were first-generation immigrants. On my mother's side of the family, we were Swedes, all Swedish. On my father's side of the family, Irish, all Irish. But anyway, in this cauldron of time, it was also the Depression. And that was a difficult time for my family. My grandfather, William O'Keefe, had made a great success of himself. He had been with Tammany Hall. He was a Democratic committee man, made money in construction. His claim to fame was a building, now on the registry of New York City, called the Flatiron Building. He did the brickwork. His was the O'Keefe Construction Company. He built homes in Long Island. And when 1929 came, the year that I was born, famous in that it was the year of the Depression in October, I was born that February, 1929, on the 17th. And this had a tremendous effect not only on my grandfather, who lost all his businesses, I guess, and had financial problems, but for my parents. Mildred and Jim had been childhood sweethearts, and happily they had 2 children by the time the Depression hit its bulk in 1931, 1932. And during that period, they had to really share apartments with relatives, my Aunt Edith and my Uncle Willie, because people could not pay the rent. And of course, me, as the oldest one, was often sent to live with grandparents. Now, I did spend some time with my maternal grandmother, my Swedish grandmother, but mostly I spent my time with my paternal side of the family, with my famous papa. And he was so good to me. He would take me everywhere. We went to the Statue of Liberty. He would show me off to his friends. He would make special dishes. And he taught me to read from the Daily News, 2 cents a paper. And we played checkers, and we had lots and lots of fun. And I spent really a lot of time with him. And this helped my parents out to help deal with their other children. Unfortunately, my grandmother, Nana, who was Irish too, she was always saying, oh, don't go here, it's dangerous, or don't go on the roller coaster, she'll fall off. So we called her the wet blanket. So at age 8, my grandfather passed away, unfortunately. And of course, everybody was sad, and my mother was noticing why I wasn't so sad, because I did not think he was dead. I totally believed that he had a huge straw in that coffin, and I guess some snacks. I didn't think that far. I was only 8. And I had gone to the funeral, kissed him on the cheek, that cold marble which you never forget. But I figured, well, now he'll see me in a while, you know, get rid of that wet blanket. So I waited, and week past week, and I guess my little brain finally figured out he wasn't coming back. So that was a very sorry event for me. It is now getting to be the mid-30s and time for Alice to go to school. In the Depression and that period right before and after it, people were encouraged to move all the time. My parents would get a month's rent free and a paint job. so that we constantly had these barrels where we put everything, wrapped them in the newspaper, and off again. And my school record shows I went to 13 elementary schools, but mostly they were, at the beginning, in the same neighborhood. And this was difficult for me, but you know, I learned to be very flexible. And I think that was a good thing. One of the moves that we made was from the Inwood area where we were moving all these times, was to the Columbia University area. Then we moved to 123rd Street, and that was pretty nice, right on Amsterdam Avenue, another set of school. And the school was a little sort of off on Amsterdam and Broadway, up on Finnegan's Hill. Now, my parents had lived there when I was a baby. It was a scene of cold water flats, a coal stove, toilet in the hall, and it was still not so great, Finnegan's Hill, when I was going to school in junior high school, 7th grade. Well, my mother looked at my notebook and said, uh-oh, nothing is in there, because I was up in Inwood getting a very good education, and this was a kind of a mixed Irish, ghetto, Harlem, So she said, Catholic school for you. But before I went to Catholic school, I had a couple of experiences at junior high school. And one was that there were this tall red-headed gal and some other very tall girls, it seemed to me, would sort of threaten me, follow me home and say, we're going to take our pens, we're going to take our pencils, and we're going to stab you. And I got sick of it. First of all, I didn't like them following me like that, and I didn't like these stupid threats. So one day, in our schoolyard, which, as you know, was cement, iron fence, no equipment. Luckily, sometimes you might have a ball that they would set out so the kids could have recess. So I took 2 milk cartons, put them together, because I was determined I had enough. So I stood up on top of that, and they all gathered around, especially that tall red-headed girl, and I stuck my arms out like that, and I said, go ahead, get your pens, get your pencils, and kill me now, and stab me and do whatever you want, because I can't take it. I can't take it anymore. And I jumped off the box, and they burst out laughing, and they thought it was so hilarious. And I don't know, they sort of became my friends after that. And I must admit, that was a fun time. So anyway, high school, ready to do that. I went to Cathedral's school, a Catholic school on scholarship. And that was a nice school for nice girls that wore stockings, hose, wore gloves, and always conducted themselves like a lady. And it was a wonderful education there with the nuns, hard, but you did a lot of rote, and I was able to do really well. I guess I was good at that, memorizing stuff. And I got 99 averages and things. And I remember I was always wanting to be different and learning more. And I remember the nun said, well, we have a chance to take physics. Who would like to take physics? And Alice's hand went up, and nobody else's hand went up. Because I was that simple a person, kind of, always wanted to be like learning. Now I'm ready to get out to some serious study. Hunter, I took the test, passed, and there I was. We did 2 years in the Bronx campus and then down to the main building. And I was like a sponge for music, and this is something that I'll have forever. I said, no music surveys of, name that tune or whatever. I took opera. I know nothing about it. So we did Faust, and we did Carmen, and we did Don Giovanni, and I became a fan. No, I became a fiend on opera. And what my girlfriend, Tina Walker, who was with me at high school, and is a dear friend, who I still correspond with to this day. Anyway, we decided to go to the old Met, 39th Street, downtown, and we said, we can't afford tickets, but they had a standing room only for $2. You went in, and you did have to stand most of the time. If you're lucky, you could sit down. But the main thing is that you wanted something, you had to wait on this line to get the ticket to get in. So we would spell each other, usually my girlfriend and I'd go get to the Horn and Hardouts, which is an automat. You put the nickels in and out comes a little tea. More important than food for the body was food for the soul. Food of Angels, that was the music at the Met. We were fortunate enough to hear Mario Del Monaco, Giuseppe Di Stefano, singing Bohème, singing Turandot, all the wonderful music that you could imagine.